Hi, everyone. So I wanted to come on and talk a little bit about my readings that I have because I have a promotion going on right now for my birthday until Tuesday, where all of my readings are 44% off. And I was guided to come on and do a little video and talk a little bit about about the readings. And, it was interesting because my guides also kept guiding me to talk about a little bit about spiritual awakening. And I feel like they're guiding me to talk a little bit about that because I think it's really within the collective's awareness right now. Especially, I did a post, a couple posts back, about Pluto moving into Aquarius, and Pluto being the planet of death and rebirth and transformation, and Aquarius holding the energy of power to the people, sovereignty, being our unique selves, technology, AI, that kind of stuff. And Pluto will be in Aquarius for about the next 20 years or so. He's in Aquarius now for a little bit, and then he'll move back to Capricorn, but then anyway, back into Aquarius. I mean, essentially, we're getting a taste of what the next 20 years are going to be like. And how this is really an opportunity for humanity to look within ourselves and find our truth and find who we really are and start showing that side of ourselves to the world. It's also an amazing opportunity to live in sovereignty and to take our power back and really to turn our gaze towards those big structures in our life, in our world. So, government, media, healthcare, education, politics, all of that. And really taking a look at those big structures in our world to understand and to discern, because discernment is going to be such a key piece within the next 20 years. Discern what is true for you and what is right for you, not just because someone else says something is right for you or someone else tells you something. And a lot of that will be around these big structures and how for many years, humanity, we've given our power away to these big structures and allowed them to tell us how to live our lives and who to be. And so that's going to be a really big theme. And then, and then my guides kept talking to me about spiritual awakening. This just kept coming up. And, it feels like maybe there's messages around this for people out there. And I'll talk a little bit too about how my planet and animal readings can help with that. But, spiritual awakening, it's such a big term. I mean, there's so many layers to spiritual awakening. There's so many aspects to it. All of us are in different stages of a spiritual awakening. And that's something that our souls have signed up for. Whatever stage or area we are in our life right now, our souls have signed up for this time and for these whatever lessons are coming through and experiences. For me personally, I mean, I've talked about my awakening before, but for me personally, my spiritual awakening started in 2012. And it was specifically related to the career that I was in. And it was a very corporate career. And it was something that I had been in since right out of university. And it was something that I believed was me and that was how I wanted to live my life. But something's shifted in 2012 for me, where I started to have these thoughts where I started to see the dysfunction in the work that I did and in the environment that I was working in. And then I started to see the dysfunction in the broader world. And then I started to see dysfunction in relationships. But then ultimately, I saw the dysfunction in myself. And that can be a really uncomfortable place to be in. And once that switch is turned on, you literally cannot turn it off. It's really difficult to unsee what you start to see. And for me, I felt like I wanted to, once it started happening, I wanted to crawl out of my skin. I wanted to crawl out of my body. And, I would say to people like, surely this can't be it. This isn't life. Like, this isn't what life is, sort of having a hard time getting up in the morning, feeling dread for the day ahead, not being able to find any joy, feeling like like I wanted to crawl out of my body, and seeing the dysfunction and seeing what went on, and just the not being present to my body, to my nervous system. It literally got to a point where I couldn't do it anymore. And, so I left, and then I left in 2015, and then my awakening, like I started to learn more and see more about the world. And then my intuitive gifts started coming online, and things really sped up the last 3 years for me with my awakening. And maybe some of you also feel that as well. The last few years, I think, have lifted the veil for a lot of us around this world and the things that we're told by these big systems that maybe don't feel true and they don't feel right in our heart. And getting to that place where there's just no other way to live other than from your heart and from your truth, even though you're being told not to, which is really difficult because that's something that we've been programmed to do our whole lives, is to look for security and look for truth and look for love outside of us. When really all of that actually does lie within us. And so as difficult as the last few years have been for all of us in so many different ways, I really feel that, all of us in so many different ways. I think that it's changed a lot of us too. And so, for me, it just cemented living in my truth and being in my truth and allowing my gifts to come on and allowing to speak about those gifts and offer them as services in the world. Even when I felt like an outsider and felt like an alien and felt like, well, I mean, we're all aliens, but that's another story. We all come from the stars. We're all stardust. But felt, in this world, felt like the outsider, and felt very different and, not included, I guess, and I mean, that's a big wounding for me from other lifetimes where, I was harmed for using my gifts and speaking my truth. And so this is actually a really big lifetime for me to heal that trauma, which I've done a lot of work on, but the work continues. Like, it still comes up and it's still something, that I work through because I hold that PTSD in my soul. Even though I won't be physically harmed for sharing my gifts in this lifetime, I still hold that trauma deep within my soul. And maybe some of you can relate to that. And maybe even if not in that specific way, maybe you have other soul PTSD trauma that you hold. But it also, when I was thinking about the spiritual awakening, it made me think about that really what the spiritual awakening is all about is it's all about bringing us back to love. Because love is the truth, and love resides within all of us. We are born love. We are love. We hold love. Love is our life. We are it. And I really believe that that's a big part of the spiritual awakening. And the really big part of it is coming back to love for ourselves, loving ourselves first, because that's what I've discovered over the last few years is as I slowly started to heal inner child wounding from other lifetimes, I started to see that it's okay to love myself and it's okay to have respect for myself. Again, even though we're told and programmed to look outside of ourselves for all of these things, that's not actually true. It's all within us. And once I started to believe that, that totally shifted me into a new paradigm. Again, still a work in progress, and the awakening journey never ever ends. It's just in different stages, right? And no one stage is better than the other. It's nothing like that. It's just different for each person, and that's what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be unique. Again, as much as we're maybe advised not to be unique or told from the outside stuff. But it really is going back to the love that we hold in ourselves, and ultimately love over fear. And that's actually a phrase that I've heard that kept coming to me from my guides over the last few years. Love over fear, love over fear, love over fear, because love always trumps fear. Love holds a high vibration of peace and joy and oneness, and allows us to be who we are. Love over fear will always shine a light on the darkness and help move the darkness away. And love is the key, and love is the answer. And as much as we get messages that are contrary to that, the real piece, the real important part of the journey over the next 20 years for humanity is, how do we love ourselves again? It's true. How do we find that love for ourselves? How do we find that love for our little Kate, little person? How do we find that love for those other lifetimes that we were in? How do we find grace for ourselves, and how do we find peace for ourselves? And that's really the part of the awakening journey. It's bringing us back to love. It's bringing us back to the love source that we are. And excuse me, that's something that my readings, my readings with the planets and the animals are just amazing to help. They provide such beautiful, loving guidance. It's such heart-centered guidance to people around helping us all step back into our truth and step back into who we are, and show us that love over fear is possible. You can never go wrong when you allow yourself to be led by love. Never. You can never go wrong. When you follow your heart, when you follow love, that's the key. And the planets and the animals, like I said, they just provide beautiful, loving guidance and messages for people around, if you are going through a spiritual awakening and you're like, what the heck is going on here? What is this world that I'm living in? What are these illusions? What are these veils that have been pulled over my eyes for so many years? Why am I starting to feel that the information that I'm getting from the outside isn't matching my heart? And what is truth? Well, truth is in your heart. And they can help you with that, help you navigate through that. They can help you trust your intuition again and trust your soul and hear the messages that are out there for you. They can help you find how do you want to be of service in the world? How do you want to share your gifts in this world? What does that look like? They can help show you the way. They can help you with your relationships. They can help you with loving yourself again. They can answer any question that you have and provide beautiful, loving, heart-centered guidance. And so I just wanted to explain a little bit about everything that they can do. They can really answer any question. I have the all planet reading that I do. And that's where any and all planets can come in and they will share guidance with you. All of the planets represent a different archetype. Mercury represents communication. Venus represents love. Uranus represents sudden change. Pluto represents rebirth and transformation. Then I have a Venus reading, and she can talk to you about love, self-love as well, relationships, finances. And Saturn, I found he likes to come in. I've got a Saturn reading, and he likes to come in if you have questions around your career, your calling, your service. And he helps to provide structure around that for you. And then my animal readings, I can connect with any animal, cat, dog, bird, horse, cow, fish. I mean, they're all sentient beings just like we are. So I can connect in with their energy and ask them questions like, practical questions like, do you like your food? Do you like your walks? Are you happy? But the thing with the animals and our animal companions is that we've both made soul contracts with each other to help each other in this lifetime. So they've made a soul contract with you to help you on a deeper level in terms of your healing and what your soul is here to do. So they also provide information around that too. And they're really beautiful. I love the animals so much. Beautiful, heart-centered beings. We can learn so much from them and the planets. So yes, so this promo is on until till next Tuesday. And it's 44% off all the readings. So let me know if you have any questions about them. You can book now, but then we can always schedule it later down the road, like whenever works for our schedules. And I wanted to end this with, I connected in with Venus because this love theme was coming up with the awakening. And I connected with her just before I got on here. And I wanted to share the message that she had. So this is a message for all of us. Love is already within you. You are love. You are born love. Hold this innate energy close to your heart, close to your soul. You are it. It is you. Love in the vastness of this universe, shining like a glowing ember within each of us. Let it burn, for when we all burn with love, we set ourselves and humanity free. So thanks for joining me. I hope you are all having an awesome day. Sending so much love. Bye for now.